What's up, everybody? We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. And you know how we do every Wednesday night around this time. I got the brother Kala Thanos Genesis on with us tonight. Its nice topic is future of the ADOS. We can do it here in America or build Afrikstan. Kala, go ahead and take it away. Now, because Kala, you know, already in the chat room, somebody's already asking. I hope I hear something about the logistics and cost to build a nation in Africa, or millions of Black people in the Western Hemisphere going back to Africa.
Okay, well, did they ask that when they put up a new housing development? They proposed a new housing development, and with your tax dollars and everything, they said they're gonna give the developer a 20-year tax break and all the stuff like that. Did they ask? Did they vet every little detail? No, you just sit back and go to the community meeting. And they say it's going to be there, and you just sit back and shut up. And then 10 years later, the operation that you thought was going to generate so many jobs, housing, and everything, they made their money. They done pulled out, right? That happens all over America. You know what I'm saying? That happens all over America. You just sit back and take it. You know, Amazon could come into your community, make billions of dollars. You know, create a few jobs, and wreak havoc. Silicon Valley, you got people, workers, living as homeless people in Silicon Valley, right? Working at tech companies because it's so expensive to live there, right? You didn't ask for the cost and analysis and everything, or the repercussions of what Silicon Valley buying up cheap property, making billions and paying very little. You didn't ask about that, right? You didn't ask about that. You just have faith that they're going to do it. So when we say we're going to build a nation, whatever, you got to understand something. Yes, we're going to have the same people come in, cost analysis and all the stuff like that, right? But since we're Black and this ultimately is going to benefit Black people, you got to, I want to see the fine detail. I want to see the fine print. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me nothing, Colin. Blah, 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 blah. That's a Negro mentality, Negro stalling tactics.
Negro mentality.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about white people anymore. I'm past worried about white people. I'm worried about our Negro. It's about Al Qaeda, Al Cracker. Now it's our Negro. The Negro is the most dangerous thing to liberation. You know, he's determined to be a Negro for the rest of his life. I'm not even worried about the Klan. Forget the Klan. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even worried about gangbangers anymore. It's the Negro. They'll be here in the chat room. You'll see. You'll hear from them. You know, where the land at? Where the land at? Okay, how is this going to happen? How is that? Give me a full page report right now. You don't even know you Negro don't even know if your job is going to be there tomorrow.
Hey, listen. Jay Jackson says yawn.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You just keep yawning, Jay Jackson. I got my eye on you, brother. You know, so the bottom line, a lot of them won't even know if they have a job tomorrow. You know, you ain't going to your boss saying, "What's the tax thing? What? How's our profit showing? Am I gonna have a job tomorrow?" You just know you better punch that clock and do your job, right? I remember it was like a year ago. What it was, what company was that? Sam's Club, right? In DC, Maryland. Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
I wish you could wipe down my screen over here, Dinas. I got grip on my screen.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. I got microfiber cloths.
Man, maybe we have technology now. You can come over and wipe my screen over. Anyway, check this out. People go and Black people. I feel bad too because these Black people show up for work, right? You saw that, right?
And told them they ain't got no jobs.
And the job place was coming out the whole weekend, whatever it was 24 hours. They got everything out of it, right? And bolted on the people. I was coming to work today. That check is mighty good. I don't know what I'm going to do and whatnot. You know, you don't question white people, right? But you always got all these. I'm gonna sit back. I want to know everything. You know, where the details at. You know, people coming to our one guy invaded our got into our last week's conference call. How the hell did you get in here? Well, I'm not in a VIO. Somebody invited me to this conference call. It is, you know. I said, but I'll leave. I said, no, stick around, brother. I'm gonna lay it down. I'm gonna like you say back in the day. I'm gonna lay something heavy on you. You know what I'm saying? Back in the days, 70, watching 70. So I'm gonna lay something heavy on you. But the bottom line is that everybody want to know everything with a detail, the BAI. You really want to know something about the BAI, how we're going to do this nation thing? Join us and join our social network site. There's full detail on everything. We have a chip system and everything, how we can do this, how we can fill this. finances, and it's all logistical. You know, it's easier building a nation than it actually trying to transform America. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And we're going to talk about what I'm basically talking about is if you're at ADOS, African American Descendants of Slavery, right? One of our how we describe her, one of the spokespeople, one of the spokespeople of this says we have a full-page, 5-page Black agenda. Oh wow! It includes reparations. Whoa. You know what I'm saying? It includes giving us money for schools, charter schools, blah, blah, blah. But what they don't tell you is this. The reparations movement and the Black agenda for the next 400 years has all been done before. We basically let them sign legislation in our name. So
what's the difference between then and now? Social media. It's social media is the timing. That's why it's gaining steam the way it is.
Yeah, social media. Social media has basically said, okay, we're gonna talk about this reparations, blah blah blah, this that. But they possibly don't seem to understand something. We don't have the political power in America, nor do we have the sympathy. Let me give you an example. Donald John Trump just recently, his ambassador to Germany is an openly gay Republican. Okay, he went to the Germans already left this country, and they got together and said, look, any country that criminalizes homosexuality, which is target Africa, and they're continuing the work of former President Barack Barry Obama, Barry Hussein Obama, which is basically punishing countries that criminalize homosexuality. That's some basically Trump trying to appease the homosexual LGBT movement. How did this movement get so much power than Black people? So let me get this straight. We have people dying in the modern day slave trade in Libya, right? That's not right. Priority. I don't know. We don't care about that. We got all kinds of wars breaking out on the continent of Africa, destabilization, dictators popping up, rogue regimes, all this stuff going on, but no one cares about that. But the priority of the world is, of powerful countries in the world is making the world safe for homosexuality. Now, with that said, now the gays don't have. I refuse to believe 12% of the U.S. population is gay. That's not, that's not happening. That's not even people. I wouldn't think not even 100% is gay. So how do they have so much more influence and power than Black people do? Why? Because the world likes gays. The world likes Jews. They have a historic sympathy to the Holocaust and stuff like that. We give Israel $38 billion over the next 10 years. Right. You're my taxpayers' money. Now, Black people in America, right? There has never been anything directly given to Black America. Never in the history of America. There's never any legislation has been done given specifically to African American slave descendants. Never. It's always packaged as affirmative action, but the liberals and everybody else created diversity. Diversity means you can include anybody who was a victim who's non-white, who comes to America, and suddenly
no. White women and
white women
and white men are
and it takes out. If you're not a heterosexual straight white man, you're considered oppressed.
Right.
Now that doesn't have nothing to do with slavery. Even though people weren't wronged by anybody, they're just not on the winning side of his history. So basically, anybody who's not a straight white male, heterosexual male, right, is a victim. So basically, they got to make room for all these groups of people: Mexicans, Caribbean immigrants, Hispanic immigrants, everybody else, Taiwanese people coming. What does a man from Taiwan deserve any sort of thing for affirmative action for America? What did America do? Well, America was a great country and oppressed the world, everything. So you as a Taiwanese sitting in the mountain was a victim. Even though America liberated Taiwan from the Japanese occupation, they're still a victim. They could come here. The people from you know how many people from the Malays? I'm not going to be Malays. Excuse me. The Polynesian Islands. who come here, Guam, all these people are historically racist towards black people, right? They bought into the white supremacy, light skin, whatever like that. They're racist in their indigenous culture, and they're racist in their modern culture. But yet they can come to America, claim minority status, and get certain ins and outs, and they can fill the minority slots. Because when you just fill minority slots, that doesn't mean you have to have black people. That's what they did it for, to make sure black males, so many black males don't get up. They don't want to help Black America develop. It's all about diversity. Say, hey, we got diversity here. We got diversity here. We got black. Well, where are the black people from? Well, we got these people from Jamaica. He's from Jamaica. He's from Haiti. We technically classify some very dark-skinned people from the Pacific Islands as black or colored, whatever, and everything like that. See, we got diversity. See, we got everybody getting on. We got Chinese guy here. You got lesbian white women right here. You got people who look black right here, and they're all here. And we create a culture unifying hip hop. You know, everybody likes hip hop. So when you go into a party, office party, everybody's getting down, doing hip hop and everything, and everybody believes that they can have. We did our thing. We came a long ways, and we had affirmative action. We got all this diversity. We have all this race mixing. Everybody getting along and everything like that. But there's a problem here. The black man in America and the black woman in America have basically been shunned aside. We fought for all these things. We basically said what no other race of people did. We believe we're Americans. We believe in the American creed more than white people do. Most white people think it's a joke. The white people, as soon as this country stops.
So let me ask you, okay, us believing in the American creed more than white people, is that delusional because of our history here in the country?
See, no, what it is this. What it is this. Black people in America are just too loving and too trusting. You know, we're too loving and too trusting, you know. And a lot of white people, they tell me all the time. I remember having this white guy, and he was basically, I got a couple of stories I got to tell, but I should have wrote them down. Maybe I'll get him next week if I don't think one up. Anyway, this white guy I used to know, right? I used to work with. And he was from Iceland, right? Iceland. Real nice guy. Real nice guy. I remember I bought a car stereo system from him, right? And he said, yeah, buy it for me, you know, I'll take your old one, and just pay me like $20. I'll put it in for you, okay? And then as we were talking, this was right in during the primaries leading up to this is back in 2007, leading up to Obama. I remember that night the debates was John Edwards, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and a couple other people on the thing, right? And we were talking about politics, and he was a kind of Mike Huckabee type of guy, right? So I was basically saying, I don't know who it is. I didn't know about this guy Barack Obama too much and everything. I was like, that's when I first started my blog, College Genesis. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he just told me, he said, look, man, I'm gonna ask you something, man, and he was like choking up. He said, how do you be a black man in this country? I said, what do you mean? He goes, look, man, I work at this place, Bamboo Hut. I work at this pizza place and everything. And everybody, as soon as a black man, I work with black people, as soon as a black guy walk out of the room, they say, nigga this, nigga that, nigga that. When he comes back in, they're all smiling in his face.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, and he said he was working in this place with these Chinese people called this restaurant called Bamboo Hut, right? I said, yeah, I used to order food from them all the time. He said they're Koreans. He said they're incredibly racist. They speak in Korean. They say nigga this, nigga that. You know what I'm saying? And nigga, and then he said they look at him like he's supposed to go along with it. He said, but then he says, I'm not from here. He told him, I'm not from here, I'm from Iceland. We don't do that. We don't like that. And then he was basically just telling me, he was like, man, he goes, this one lady girl he works with, this one place, he goes, she's always giving this black guy a hard time, making backhanded comments and everything. Like he's a Navy guy, a real upstanding guy, got a wife and family and kids, but she just give this guy a hard time, and just basically, everything about him, he's just the worst person in the world. He said, real nice guy too. She was demeaning his character and stuff like that. And I said, I don't know. He said, and basically, and his words were like choking up. He was like almost crying. He was like, man, I just don't understand it, man. You guys, man, if you guys could, I wish black people could, the world could just give the black people in America a place of his own. And I thought of it. That's when I started thinking about it. Maybe we do need a nation of our own. Then Barack Obama came along and I sort of, waved. I thought, oh man, maybe this is the hope and change we're looking for, or a little that I know. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this, the world sees that he said, you guys are extraordinary people. Because if I went through what you guys went through, I would hate this country. He goes, and me personally, just being a white man from Iceland, I hate this country for what they did to you. And I don't understand how black men go to the military and stuff like that. You know, how do you love this country? How do you do it? How do you do it? They make a mockery. The reason why they don't respect you is because you haven't stood up to America. Then you gave your love away for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Our love is cheap.
Right.
So therefore, that's the problem I have with the people who say we're going to basically integrate into American society and become full Americans, and I just want to be American. The bottom line, it's not that easy. Not that means you basically have to forget what your ancestors. If you call yourself a descendant of slaves, then you basically have to have some sort of vengeance, or some sort of vengeance for what your ancestors did. You so regrets. You think money's going to regress everything? Will money stop the next police killing? What triggers a lot of the stuff that we go through is when we do hear about police killings and them being able to kill us with impunity and get away with it. Say, well, what about black on black crime? We understand black on black crime because most of the time the odds are the person who commits a murder in black communities go to jail and get arrested. But when a police officer like this guy, like the case in Alabama, they don't even have the decency to put the officer on trial or have an investigation and say, see what, let a grand jury, let a jury decide if he's guilty or innocent. They killed this guy, an innocent black man, a Marine, somebody who fought for his country, went out there and believed in this and killed him in cold blood. So I want to understand the people who say we're going to be Americans and you want to wrap yourself in the American flag and all this stuff like this, you know. Mm-hmm. You want to wrap yourself in the American flag or so. What do you say about that black man who's sitting there and a woman, wife, good people? He's in the military, wife, good people, a pillar of the community, right? They lost their son. Their son's not coming back. The mayor doesn't give a damn. The governor doesn't give a damn. What do you say about them, about their pain? How long are black people going to keep swallowing their pain? When are we going to stop being able to swallow it? When are we going to get satisfaction?
And real quick, caller, breaking news: Jussie Smollett has been indicted on his.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah. On his clown dickery. Yeah, but
go ahead. Oh, yeah. So the bottom line is, we have a situation here in America where it's a no-win. In other words, basically, we got two things we could do. We could just bow down what they're telling us to do at gunpoint. You know, basically bow down, shut up, and forget about your ancestors. Well, if you forget about your roots, right? What's a tree without roots? It dies. And then you got our brothers in Africa tell us, "Oh, you can come to Africa, but forget about your heritage in America. Don't be radical, and don't all this stuff you guys talk and everything. You got to forget that." Your brothers on the show yesterday said they thought that when they went to Ghana, they were going to be reading with Black Power Fist, RBG, and everything like that. They see the Black Star Line. That's what we thought of Ghana. No, that's not the case. Nobody, no group of people on this earth is going to carry our burden. The burden of the African American. You know what I'm saying? It's unique to everybody else. We were enslaved and mistreated by the most powerful, the most successful, the wealthy, the most admired, and the most beloved and hated country on the planet of Earth. We're trapped in a conundrum. Our wealth, our human sacrifice of slavery is what made America what it is. Now we could be, and then at the same time, America is offering us third-class citizenship, by which anyone could come over. That's all they offered us. They said, you came out of slavery, the highest you're ever going to go is third-class citizens. Anybody can come off the boat over here, off the plane, whatever like that, and immediately feel superiority. You saw that text I sent you where this Nigerian girl was basically saying the South Africans are starting to act like Akadas.
South Africans are starting to act like Akadas?
No. South Africans are. I sent you the text. You look at your text. I sent you a bunch of screenshots.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I said, And she says, acting like a goddess. They started to act like goddess, unruly, and other. She'd be slapped out if they was
Yeah, but it
Nigerian.
seems like as if Nigerians don't act unruly. That's the shit.
Well, you know why? Because what they're doing is taking the narrative from the American media and running with it.
All right.
So what's the difference between an African who says that and Stormfront or this thing? What do you think? This anti-hatred for Black people and African Americans thing, it's become because most Africans don't have their own intelligence. They don't have the intelligence just yet. You don't have people sitting around talking on this level like us. You know, you never go to show me anywhere on YouTube where you see Africans talking in any fashion for any length of time, discussing anything. You never do. It's the only time they talk is when they talk about a political leader and they're going back and forth with babble. You never hear them intellectually talking or basically doing analytics or whatever. You never hear that from Africans. They take it face value what they believe about us, but at the same time, the same images we see about them.
Real quick, let me holler at Greg Wise. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Gregory White. Shout out to Gregory White. Me and him kicked it in Ghana back in December. All right, go ahead, family. Peace to everybody in the chat room too.
Yeah. So yeah. Yo, look, don't come in here with this ADOS with the American flag stuff for Africans. Africans are very smart. Just that the intellectual is something different. You know, Africans are very brave. So as far as people in the world are Nigerians, you know, I'll give them that. Some Africans smart. But how to translate that to the masses and make it a culture of intelligence, right, where they can move forward, that's the challenge. You know, just geniuses in Nigeria, you know, but the country has to figure out how to unleash that potential. And that's what we're talking about here. It's easier to hug up with the British and the French, whoever their colonial masters is, and see sit on their shoulders and look down on everybody else. Say, "Oh, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I'm better. Look what I got and everything." Then to get on your feet and say, "Okay, well, let's build this for everybody," so everybody feel like they're uplifted. You know, the right tide lifts all boats. I mean, that's lost a lot of brothers in Africa. Let's all come up and with our education, our skills, and everything. Don't you want one person come over here? Don't bring 5,000 Nigerians over here to tell us how stupid we are and everything when we know that they only represent a tiny fraction of their population. And don't Africans stop being used by Europeans. Let me give you another example. Tell another story. Anytime, one thing I will say about Africans, if we talk about you and everything, it's about we see ourselves as brothers and sisters. I see Africans as brothers and sisters, right? Let me put that clear. Now, I don't have any enemies in Africa, but we do have some enemies, the Afro-Europeans. But the Africans that live there, mind their business, everything, we can talk to all of us. You don't have to be on some black power stuff, but just a normal, you have no problem with you. The problem is this. When we talk about Africa and stuff like that, it's the same way we talk about ourselves. Dynas and I get on Black people in America more than we do. This is the whole idea of this. It's easy to get on here and be fake and phony and everything, and nothing gets accomplished. But when Dynas say certain things like, look, why I go to Africa, I got to pay the same price right here. Why can't I get this right here and everything? You know, and then your brother that you had on today, he was dynamite. He said, well, because, you know, the Ghanaian government don't have any plans to reach out to the African, the Black diaspora in the West and everything. Ghanaian. And so like the Chinese do. The Chinese, basically, they knew every Chinese on this earth was first and foremost a Chinese. You can speak English, whatever you want to do and everything. But the Chinese American community and all the Chinatowns in America, they got something for them in China. There's connections. They get those. They use the affirmative action and the set asides in colleges to get them education. Who is going to be the beneficiary of that? The Chinese. They know they can go to China and get electrical company or tech company, everything, and bring it back to America or get technology from America and get rich in China. Back and forth. They got all these cards to play. They got Beijing, they got Hong Kong, Macau, all these places right here where the Chinese culture and the infrastructure coordinates together. And some of these Chinese that get this have been in America since the early 1800s, building railways. Many generations in America, but they kept their race and who their homeland was. You know, you seen that one Chinese kid that O'Shea interviewed. Remember, he was like, he made a video about Black people, whatever, and O'Shea had him on. It was a good conversation. It was cordial.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a good conversation. You go back in his archives. But the shows me, this guy was Chinese American, many generations, right? Built the railway. But he still had connections to a village in rural China. You know, so that's what I'm saying. We as black people have to acknowledge the damage the transatlantic slave trade did. If we get this right, we can unify. But we can't get this right by basically Africans and Caribbean, whoever telling us to forget our slave history. That's who we are. We're the descendants of slaves.
Right. So Colin, don't call yourself slaves because your history didn't start with slavery. You're African. Like when people tell you that, what's your
My response is this: I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't do. I think of every time I think of the pain, the helplessness, the humiliations my ancestors where I'm from went through on the bottom of slave ships. That's where you start. They came from all over Africa. They spoke different languages, came from different tribes. When they were on that slave ship, they became a people. You know, they became a people. And when they was on those cotton fields, and you look at the many slave rebellions, the Stonewall Rebellion and everything, there were people that came from the Ashantis, the Mindis, the people came from Angola and the Congo and everything, but they knew one thing: they were black people now. You know, the white man saw them all as black, right? So we reciprocated and said, okay, that's how we're going to unify. You know, we didn't say, well, okay, well, I'm Mandingo, I can't work with you, this, that, and the other thing. You know, I'm a Gola, I can't work with you. I'm a Hausa. No, I can't. No, we're in this country, we're all black, right? That's an experience. That's real. That's bitten in blood. We shed blood together on those cotton fields and everything. Well, our unity and bloodlines were forged in blood and sacrifice and suffering. So you want me to forget all that history, everything that basically that we need to build a nation? Before you build a nation, you have to be one as a people. You have to have a common experience, right? I don't know what most Africans were doing in those 200-something years we were enslaved. You know, it's obvious that there wasn't really much of disruption in African culture because most of the tribes and everything stayed the same. Do I need to repeat that, Dinas?
Repeat that one more time.
Okay, the fact that you still had strong African groups on the coast of Africa that was able to put up a resistance and everything, and Europeans never actually settled in West Africa, shows me that yes, maybe it shows that it's absolutely true. There was a coordinated effort between Europeans and Africans, right?
No, there was. There was.
Yeah, but some people deny that to this day.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I just think a lot of times with Pan-Africans, man, we don't want to deal with reality.
We don't want to deal with reality. We want to deal with glossing over stuff, and then that's because those people are what I call fake Pan-Africans. They just want emotionalism. You know, let's love each other. You know, now you look down in the Congo in Angola, it was different. Queen Nzinga actually fought the slave trade. She actually fought the slave trade, and one of the things Queen Nzinga did was, what worked well was, Africans didn't do who they wanted. She made the other tribe, the smaller tribes that was complicit with the Portuguese, fear her more than they feared the Portuguese. You know, people say, no, we can't. No, yes, when it's life and death, it's either I'm going to kill you, set an example, or we're all going to be enslaved. What happens in West Africa was, okay, well, the white man's here and whatnot. He's obviously not going nowhere. Ship's not going nowhere. He wants human bodies. So we got to do something, right? We want some of the stuff here, and it spiraled out of control. That's what happened in West Africa.
Let me read these super chats real quick. Shout out to Gregory Wyatt, of course. Black Outcast Media Broadcasting Dynasty Distractors will do what they do. Let's show them better than we can tell them. ADOS for line. ADOS. All right. Now, hold on. I'm not done yet. And then shout out to Chief Drino. What's good, family at work? A divided family is a defeated one. These discussions are needed, and the focus must be on unity. Now, hold on. Man, where you go, Chief? Hold on. Oh, here we go. These discussions must be on unity and Pan-Africanism. Fly suit, Kala. Can't wait to see you in Rwanda. Catch the replay later, family. All right.
Thank you.
Hey, hold on. You know, Chief Drino was cooning on a O'Shea show last week.
Something I heard something like that. Yeah.
Hey, actually, Sean, you still. I mean, thanks for the super chat, but you was cooning. We love you, but you was cooning.
What happened? What happened?
He was just coon babble. That's what I call it, coon babble.
Don't coon, brother. We need you. We need you. I'm a cast the coon spirit. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do a Thanos Captain Coon spirit on you with a snap.
Yeah, you can do it right now. Do it right now. Cast the coon spirit out of him right now.
Boom, boom. I got a couple stones from the Infinity Gauntlet. You know, cast it now, who's on moderators tonight? Who's on moderators?
We got T. Kelly. We got Gregory Wyatt.
Please put this guy, whatever man should have, on a timeout. He said Queen is never work white Jesus, right? First of all, she converted to Christianity. There is no white Jesus. That was the Portuguese. They put up a white image of Jesus, but that don't mean people are worshiping it. You are not going to disparage Queen Azinga, right? She became a Christian. Okay, this, that, thing. But the bottom line, she kicked some major Portuguese ass and basically brought the slave trade almost to a halt, right? That's why we honor her. So those come in here, just like when people will talk about, oh, Rwanda, Paul Kagame did this. Who are these people that every time we have a hero or something like that, they always got to try to put some negative stuff. So whatever every man should have, please somebody time them out or ban them, get the hell out of here. I don't want to hear that crap anymore tonight. We need moderators to get on the action and stop these freaking trolls. Let them say what they want. I don't care what you say about me, but when you start disparaging,
I enjoy. You know, I allow people to state their opinion as long as it's not completely. You know,
but I think I thought that was just out of line. Queen Azinga, talk about me. I don't care what you say about me. You know what I'm saying? Queen Azinga, certain people should be off limits. Mm-hmm. You know, you talk about Queen Azinga, you talk about some of our spirited ancestors, everything. People come up with some vicious stuff here. You know, but the bottom line is this. Like we always say, the reason why we're doing all this stuff, and now I'm gonna get to what I mean about an Afrikstan. I'm gonna talk about an Afrikstan. What is an Afrikstan? What is it? I'm giving them for the first time on the Dynasty show and everything. It's a concept we've been developing, the BAO, all of us, Judas and Dawood, I can't name all the top people, but we've been talked about this concept of a tangible goal, and we gave a name to it in Afrikstan. You know, they say Stan. Right away, a lot of people, Stan is mostly used in the Persian. We understand that, but we have in South Africa called Bantustans, whatever. Where we don't care. We have a lot of words in our culture that are rooted in Arabic, rooted in this, rooted in that. Okay, it's rooted in Arabic. Stan. Stan means state, or in Germanic and Gaelic, it means state, or place. That means where you stand, like, you know, or land, or you say land. Or say, well, why don't we call Africa land? Well, land is English. You're back to square one. Well, can we find an African name for a land? Find me one. Maybe we can work out. That's not important. Maybe let's turn it to an Afrikogo. Ogo means land. Afrikogo. Afrikogo means, I don't know. That don't mean land, but that's what I'm talking about. That's not important. The important, you know what Stan means. Stan means an actual physical place. Afrikstan with a K means the people who are the transatlantic slave trade. That's what we define ourselves with a K. Afrikstan, the people who are descendant of the African slave holocaust, a state or land, a homeland for those people. That's what we're talking about. Now that we have the ADOS movement out here, which I'm glad it happened. Thank you, Yvette Carnell. You did have to work for me, you know, because before Pan-African was going in so many different directions, we didn't know. We was like, okay, we'll go to Ghana, but we don't get this. And we go to here, and they said no here. We're not citizens here. We're just residents and everything like that. And the idea of an Afrikstan in a host African country, right, that can be integrated and assimilated into a host African country. And so it's a specific territory or set aside for the descendants of slaves to build modern infrastructure and do things, build their own institutions, build their own economy, everything like that, trading back and forth with the host state and several African states. The beneficiaries of this primarily will be African Americans, African Haitians, the Brazilian, anybody from the diaspora who's a slave slave, not just African Americans, right? Anybody, HDOS, Haitian DOS, Brazilian DOS, Mexican DOS, whoever, Canadian DOS. If you are slave descendants and everything, you're living in a majority white country, it should be a state, just like the state of Israel, for you to come and bring your skills, bring your money, bring your stuff and live. I said, well, no, if you're gonna plan to come and do fuckery, like what you call Shay did a show the other day. He said the boo boo boys, you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna come there and do fuckery, and we got to clear up the fuckery every day, you best stay in the United States. We want the people that's gonna build. We want the black people who are professional. We want the workers. We have in the BL, we have a skilled workers group we're gonna build called the Doers. They're gonna be the backbone. The backbone of any nation is the workforce. Skilled workforce that can build things, build roads, highways, you know, there should be black men down there digging ditches and building everything. We got the manpower, we got everything we need to build this nation state easily. Not just figure, easily build this nation state. What we're saying is a physical place called an Afrikstan, a state that's hosted by a particular country, set aside. The territory could be between 2,500 and 10,000 square miles. That's not a lot of land, folks. Africa has 12 million square miles, of which is only 15% of the land is occupied. That means it has a grid and has an infrastructure. We're looking for a completely undeveloped, occupied territory that we could build infrastructure, build a state, build county lines, roads, municipalities, counties, all these things like that that we know how to do in America. You know, we did it once before in Liberia, right? We did it once before in Liberia in the 19th century where most black people were illiterate. We are the most advanced group of black people that's ever lived. We could most likely do that. All we need is will and determination. Once you have a will and determination that the next 400 years should be spent building Africa, because the Afrikstan will help build Africa. Having industrialists, having banks, having all that stuff that they're putting our thing. Have you heard? Yeah, we heard of the Republic of New Africa. The problem is they wanted to do it in New Georgia and New Mississippi. That's like New Negroism. We're trying to get away from America. Mm-hmm. We want a republic on the African continent. You know, we can work and get serious about building a nation state. You know, first of all, let's just find what a nation is. A nation is people. I'm so glad the ADOS movement came out. You guys did all the work because that defines a nation. American descendants of slaves. That's a nation, right? I'm a descendant of slave. Okay, we have something in common together. We have a shared history. Now, the whole thing is, do you want to spend this next year doing what Evel and Tone Talks.
He said Tone Loc.
Oh my Lord, sorry, excuse me. Tone Talks does, or do you want to say, you know something? Let's look at this. We've been talking about the same thing, and everything the black agenda does relies on somebody white ultimately saying yes, you know, yes, which they're never going to do. Building an Afrikstan requires only black approval, black host nation, right, to basically provide the basic infrastructure. And once you provide the basic infrastructure, the state can generate its own revenue source. Once the state is functioning and people are coming in, people with skills and everything, that whatever the wealth you have and skills and knowledge you have is going to transfer into wealth. If you own the land, everything, the value of the land and everything like that, the infrastructure will go up by bringing in people from the first world. That's the beauty. It's a surge thing. The same thing that happened. Let me give you a historical example. Hong Kong was a sleepy port, right? Until millions of Chinese with bags of money, right, flooding into Hong Kong and transfer all that gold and silver into Chinese banks.
Right.
Or not Chinese, banks of China and everything. Commerce in Southeast Asia exploded. It's still exploding to this day. The miracle you see in Hong Kong came from a surge. People with skills like people that basic carpentry skills became industrialists. They got loans to businesses and everything. And Hong Kong, I don't know if you guys remember, was a major shipping point. A lot of radios and clothes we had back when I was a little kid said made in Hong Kong. 5 years they were in the rural parts of China, dodging communist bullets. 10 years later, they're in Hong Kong and opening factories. That was a surge. Same surge happened in Singapore, where a large number of Chinese came there and they were trading back and forth from all across the globe, and their base of operations was Singapore. The same surge can happen when you have highly skilled, motivated black people from the West coming into a particular country, opening up factories, buying and trading goods, and shipping goods all over Africa and all over the world. That's the goal of an Afrikstan, to create the place where our best and brightest can shine and come to the fruition of what they need to do. You know, so that's what an Afrikstan is. I want to introduce that word. Can you type it in the thing? I'll type it in the thing for you guys. Afrikstan.
Okay.
You know, Afrikstan. That's the term. That's the word. That's a physical place. And what doesn't exist? Of course not.
All right, okay, here we go. Kala, here we go. Let me stop you right now. So okay, what's worse, Kala? The police state here. What's a bigger threat to Black sovereignty? The police state here in America or Africom in Africa?
See, like, this is another thing I'm talking about. This misinformation. Now they're trying to Africom. Let me tell you something, folks. Right? If you're not on the show, you're not going to get this jewel from College Genesis. Tell a friend of the College Genesis, drop the jewel tonight after you hear this. Okay? Okay? What's this? So somebody said, we know Afrikstan, a fresh, make an entry. I'm from America. Oh, Lord. You're lost, please. You're lost. Get lost. Okay. This is the thing. Let's talk about what Africom is. First of all, this notion that any organization, whatever like that, is so invincible. You know, so invincible that Africom. That's just a black people's excuse to do nothing, to be a coward, to do nothing. Oh, Africom. Oh, Africom. Then, first of all, you say so. Okay, now this is going to give us political ammunition. You go to each African country. Do you have Africom in your country? They'll say no. Okay. Do you have Africom spies and agencies? No. Can you do a top to bottom assessment like the Chinese do? They vet people coming in and out. They vet student groups and everything like that. Is anybody being paid and money being funneled subversive groups? Now I know there's people out there in lawless lands that could be susceptible to Africom money and everything like that. But Africom is basically there to protect European interests in Africa, right? First of all, if African states were moving towards fully developing and industrializing, there will be no need for Africa, because companies are like, oh, well, we're making money anyway because the government's everything's taken care of. Well, we need like that. It's not like in Central America. Black people really don't go through the ideologies of communism and Marxism and stuff like that. So there's no need for any geopolitical ploy in Africa. Marxism failed in Africa, as Tanzania. So what's the purpose of having Africa? You know, it's a NATO. Africom is controlled by NATO with a partnership with the U.S. Defense Department, okay? And they may have to do some logistics, whatever. But the whole thing about Africom is this. The present administration does not like NATO. Africom has been serving the Europeans, the European Union, France, and Britain would use Africom, right? Africom to protect their own particular interests in Africa. The United States does not get a benefit from anything in Africa. And what did Donald Trump say? He said, look, man, we're America first. We don't care about that. That puts Africom in a political peril, because they have this guy called Kip Ward that was the head of Africom. And I think they got him out of there because he was spending so like a black guy, you know. And back of him is an all-white staff and everything. Every single African country rejected Africom having a base in Africa. There's no Africom base in Africa. Every country rejected it. We don't want the Africom base on the continent. What they do have is they work with certain instances where they have logistics, or like the Al-Shabaab, and they're fighting Al-Shabaab and Al-Qaeda and Chad and stuff like that, the U.S. military and everything like that. That's one thing. But to think that whole governments, like a powerful state like Angola, or a strong country like let's say Kenya, and what's another strong state? Uganda's pretty strong too, you know, comparably. Mozambique, even South Africa is susceptible to Africa. You must think Africa is full of banana republics. That's not the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not the truth. Now, we almost had a situation where the U.S. government tried to put a base in Ghana for some reason. You saw what happened with social media. And we got on the horn with social media. And Ghana said, look, it was more of a risk, right? It was more of a risk doing that, because Ghana still wants to be looked at as this Pan-African place and everything like that. And if they did that, they would lose. So the black people in diaspora have a lot of power. African countries care about their image to the diaspora. You know, they care about they won't admit it, but they do care about our images. I'll give you another example. Back in 1995, I don't know if you guys ever heard of, old enough to know about a guy named Randall Robinson. You ever heard of him, Dennis?
No, I didn't. No, I haven't.
Okay, he was the head of Trans Africa. His brother's name was Max Robinson. He did an interview with President Talbert and both of them in the 1979 when they had the Pan African thing in 1970. An event that was erased from the history books, by the way, right? As I talked about that, a whole event that was the most significant event in Black history was erased from the history books. Nobody ever talks about that. 1979 Monrovia Pan African OAU convention. Anyway, Randall Robinson, I remember this because at the time, it was back in the early 90s, I was part of a group of affiliation of the Shiloh Institute, right? And we were debating Nigeria at the time. Up until 95, for a couple of years, we were debating Nigeria. And we said to the government of America, the Clintons and the British, didn't like the fact that Nigeria was moving towards domestic development and stuff like that. That's why we have Aliko Dangote to this day. Figured out that they didn't need commerce out. They could basically build a commodities market internally because they got the internal market. And they was talking about nationalizing the oil wells. Well, anyway, I don't know what happened with Randall Robinson and everything like that, but he went to the he didn't understand. I don't know if you understand what was really going on, but he went and changed himself to the Nigerian embassy, right in D.C.
Mm-hmm.
And that caused a big stir. African American activists, and he went on this hunger strike, and it was headlines all over the world, right? Nigerians were furious. They were like, "Yo, motherfucker, how dare you come over here and think you're gonna take over and this, that, and the other thing? Like you and Jesse Jackson stop meddling in Nigerian affairs and everything." And then there was some Nigerians who didn't get the position they want in government. Went to England. That's what they do. They always launched England. Yeah, man, the Nigerian girls committed gross. They be committing gross human rights violations and everything like that. I saw it play. I said Nigeria was doing everything right. They were locking up criminals and everything.
Colin, real quick. What somebody asking? Which African countries do you think which African countries or America are going to subsidize Afrikstan within Africa?
Okay, let me turn it off. Let me be right back in 1 second, guys. I'll be right back in 1 second. All right.
Okay, everyone. Thank you for joining us, Black Ocean. Thank you for the super chat, brother. I really appreciate it. Thank you for you guys coming on. Make sure you hit that like button. We have 240 people watching, only 83 likes. I guess Kyla had to take a bathroom break. T. Kelly, are you still in are you in Abuja? T. Kelly? T. Kelly, are you in Abuja? Let's hear. Search for Huru. You and Kyla should look at the video of the Congolese lady. Her video is Black Africa versus Black America. I'll check it out. Now we'll check it out. T. Kelly, are you in Africa at all? Yeah. Let's see here.
All right. I'm back. Now, what was the question?
Who's gonna assess who? I mean, which country in Africa for Afrikstan?
I can't say that. I can't say that. We at the BAO, if you join our organization, want to be a part of us, we have different prospects and everything. We're not the countries. Ideally, would be the countries that have their act together. I know when a country is developing the right way. I know what the type of countries. It's hard because a lot of African countries refuse to part ways with the British Commonwealth and the French Union. That's an impediment. If we're bringing capital into the country in Africa, any particular African country, we're investing our 401ks, we're rolling our 401ks and everything over there. And African countries get the notion that we could subsidize infrastructure and whatever, like we're consuming. African Americans have a $63 billion a year tourism business, and we ever talk about that? $63 billion. We have Black America has a large middle class. I don't know why people think we're all ghetto and everything. We have a large middle class here. We got money. savings and everything. I'm overwhelmed by the amount of wealth and black people at pocket. We just have no place to go. We're spending people. We're starting to become an investment people. As we get more educated, I thank God for people like Jay Morris. Is that his name, Jay Morrison? And other people like that. The people that's doing work is telling us, like, and I give credit to Boyce Watkins and people like that who talk about investing and talk about all these things and everything. But basically, keep you in the mind frame. Do something. People not doing it, but when the time comes, they say, "I'm gonna invest. I want to do this." Or people, the fact that a lot of black people got the cryptocurrency, that was a big breakthrough. Cryptocurrency and stuff like that, and looking at different things, and that we over the last 10 years. When I first got on the internet, and I couldn't believe how the ignorant black people just blah 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 blah. We don't need to do this. We need to do that. We need to start a vegetable garden in our backyard when that's the key to liberation. Blah blah blah. Then we got on here and said, look, why can't we be people of technology, people of science, people of industry, people of investment and all stuff like that? Why can't we have consortiums, investment clubs, and everything? Why can't that be the direction nationalists and Pan-African take? And this, me, myself, and Hope, and all of us and everything, we were the first groups that started merging them. Before, if you talked about investment, they was like, "Oh, you're a capitalist, man. You're a capitalist. You're a capitalist. You're capitalist." But all the time,
you're what? You're what?
Capitalist.
Okay, capitalist. Okay.
But all the time, they got their little GoFundMe's. They got their little revenue streams on YouTube going on. I got this T-shirt to sell and everything like that. You're a capitalist. But everybody else is a capitalist, but you. You out there doing all this nonsense and everything, trying to make $1. You're on the street corner selling this bean pies, this, that, thing. But everybody else is a capitalist. Right? You're a capitalist.
Right. Yeah. You got jobs, get paychecks, pay taxes, but
you pay taxes. Everybody's a capitalist. The capitalism is the reason why we're sitting here with this technology. Somebody invested in Google, right? Now look what it is. Now look how we're able to get stuff done because we got this technology here. I'm not ashamed to say it. Somebody called me and said, "Well, we got to stop everything until we have our own media platform." Oh, you go do that. You go while you're waiting for a black man to create his version of YouTube and everything, and this, that, and the other thing. That's the guy who told me that. Yeah, man, we shouldn't be on YouTube, man. We should be on Blog Talk. I had to tell me that. You a Blog Talk Radio. You funded the crap. You funded the. But where you calling to? Blog Talk Radio. So you just called into a radio show, condemning me for being on the same radio show that you listen to every night. But some black people get intimidated by these fools. Don't get intimidated by these fools. They're nothing. They going nowhere. They don't believe in technology. They don't believe in education. The only way out is education, learning. Take the road of education and learning. The stuff we learned in the street corners and everything, in our little ciphers and everything, that ain't gonna get us shit. Don't worry about no goddamn Africom and everything. You must build this nation. Now, back to about what country? I don't know particularly. I have my idea, but I'm not gonna tell it on the air. I don't want to be on the air. And next thing you know, somebody going to the embassy. So you call Genesis said you got land for them, whatnot. Negroes will do that. Mm-hmm. They won't call their baby mamas once a week to check on their children. But if Kyle says something, they're gonna be right on the phone trying to verify it and whatnot. Right. Verify what that means. I was on the phone today all day with this. They say you don't know what you from Africa or not. Same brother could be using that time to get himself a job and better himself. Right. He's all up my ass. Yeah. So
the BIO, they agents. The BIO.
Yeah. I would like to know if I'm an agent, who's paying me? All my money comes from what I do. I guess you must think this government has endless resources to pay my janky ass. Mm-hmm. Ain't no government giving me no money for doing nothing. So we talk about nation building. Somebody said ADOS is basically a fantasy Afrikstan, no logic. Of course you believe that, Bruce Kisser, because you don't know, you have no idea how many years we've been putting into this. The people like that just talk off their ass. The bottom line is this. The bottom line is, I bet he's not even black. If you were black, Bruce, they'll say you could probably join our group and find out. But since you're not black, you're not black, you're never going to get in. And we find out you're not black, we'll kick you out. We are BAL. Only people that can join the BAL are people of Black African descent. It says 2 questions: are you African American or a person of Black African descent? We don't discriminate. If you're Black and you're African, you can join the BAIO. You know. Now the whole thing is this. Whole thing is this. Now we talk about the way forward. The the Afrikstan. That's a long-term goal, but it's doable. It's something tangible. See, you say you have a nation state. What can a nation state accomplish? Well, a lot. People like, Dave, you mean you have sovereignty, you have military, you have international trade. You don't have to ask the white people for anything. You could you control who comes into your country. You control the commerce, import, export. Everything that comes, all the benefits and the blessings of this thing called the Republic is at your hands. Why hasn't a Black man figured out that he needs his own land, his own republic, with his own laws, his own constitution? Why haven't that been the thing? You're going to follow somebody that's going to tell you the same begging, crying, pleading to the white man, we need this, we need, woe is me, I need my reparations check, everything. It's not going to go. Yes, we deserve reparations, but it's not going to happen. Let me tell you something, if you don't know how a bill is passed. The only way a reparations check can ever be given to, if you actually took the United States government to court, and inside the United States, you went all the way to the Supreme Court and they said, yes, Black people in America owe reparations. But you know what would happen? You would lose your citizenship. You know, if you could, the only way you could prove that is basically saying that I'm a victim of America. I didn't want to be here. My ancestors were victims and everything. I want a way out. And basically, you could probably, if it would have to take around 2/3 of Black people polling strongly, agreeing to that, right? Saying we want out of America. And then basically you have a case to basically, okay, well, the government's gonna do it, but guess what? You lose your citizenship here. If you stay here, you are now a visa or resident. That means you can't vote, you can't do all this stuff, you can't I think residents now collect Social Security. Well, but you'll lose a lot. You can forget politics in America forever. You know, you can't vote, you can't do anything like that. You lose your citizenship. And you be something like the American Indians. That means once you lose your citizenship, that means nobody's gonna deal with you. Why would you stay here? If you lose your citizenship, you lose everything, but then you got a little bit of money. Why would you stay in the United States?
Shout out to Yahuda Ben Israel. ADOS need America to give us some of the wealth and resources they're exploiting from Africa and the rest of the world because we're Americans.
Huh? No, it's American. I don't know. I'd let you take a crack at that. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. Thanks for the super chat, but that shit did not.
Yeah. Right, so give us some of the wealth that's being exploited from Africa. Yeah, I can't support that.
Well, first of all, America doesn't really have a lot of stuff that comes out of it. Less than 5% of Africa's wealth is even tapped. The only thing America really gets from Africa is oil and bauxite. From Ghana and from Guinea. America really hasn't had any interest in the Congo. Most of the wealth that goes to the Congo goes to China, Canada, Europe, and everything. America usually the traditional role is America bankrolls capitalization of the exploitation of Africa. In other words, Wall Street banks, insurance companies, and everything bankroll and retirement plans. With your retirement plan, everything goes to capitalizing and stuff like that in Africa. America really does. America's a banker. Understand? America's a banker. America provides underwrites the capital for all this. America is not directly involved in Africa. This is for us to have a way in, because America has no really direct interest in Africa. You know why? You want to know why, folks, boys and girls? Why America? Because America does not. White Americans don't really give a shit about anything outside the borders of America.
I disagree. I would say white conservatives don't, but white liberals.
Right. Oh yeah. White liberals.
They gotta go save the children.
Yeah. White liberals do. Right? But you gotta understand how that works, right? The white liberals go around saying we need to do it. White liberals are dangerous because they come in we're coming here to save you and everything. And you have white liberals like Jimmy Carter involved in all the conflicts all over the world. Same thing with Barack Obama, right? Conservatives like, oh, we don't give a fuck about this, but they're on the same boat. And the white liberal will read back to the conservatives, okay, if you don't do this right here, you know what can happen? We could lose that base or that factory that we have over there that supplies this. The conservatives will say, oh, I'm an isolation and everything, but when it comes down to voting in the Senate and everything, he's gonna vote what the liberals said, right? Because he got a mindset. They work together. White liberal and conservative, same thing. But for the most part, most white males are conservative. 80%, less than 20% of Americans have passports. You know, America is just this great country to the white male, alpha male, right? When he goes overseas, he's a foreigner, right? I remember this one time I was reading this article in Essence magazine, Emerge magazine. I don't know if you remember Emerge magazine.
No.
Oh, Dynasty. It was the early 90s. That was the best black magazine ever created. I hated it. Why? Because every month they had an international section, right? They had correspondence on the African continent. Oh my God, it was heaven. The early 90s was that's when I was, oh my God, in the Pan-African years. I saw Botswana arise. I knew about Nigeria and Uganda. I was all into Africa and everything. Emerge magazine helped me, you know. Every time, and I had a couple of local magazines that had an international section. And I was always feeling for what was going on in South Africa's apartheid transition and stuff like that. And I kept it up to date before we had the internet. You know, we had before the internet, so I had to go through every. I would between my job, I would go to Time magazine, Wall Street Journal. What's going on in Africa? What's going on in Africa? You know. And once a month with Emerge magazine. So I kept up with all the stuff that was going on the continent before the internet was even a thing. That people were like, how do you know so much about the continent? I said, man, if you see how many, I still got all my books and magazines to this day. You know, about the crisis in Nigeria, what's going on there, and stuff like that. And so the bottom line is, I kept up with all the stuff for 2 decades almost, you know. And so, you know, so what was I saying? I don't know why I said that.
I forgot. You just thought you jumped into Emerge magazine.
Oh yeah, Emerge magazine. We don't have Emerge magazine anymore, unfortunately. You know, unfortunately, I don't know why. And matter of fact, we don't have Ebony anymore. We don't have Essence anymore because you look at their board. Look what Ebony talks about, right? You know, interracial marriage. You know, every time you see Essence's magazine, they're pushing interracial marriage. They're pushing the LGBTQ. They're pushing feminism. All the stuff like that. It's not Ebony magazine anymore. How did we as Black people lose that? Our Black institutions are being taken over. Our HBCUs. You got more whites going on there. You know, more white faculty and everything. Every instance, Black America function almost, people don't know this, like their own country here, but we're still subject to U.S. laws. So we can manage our own affairs for all these years in America with no help from the government, no help from the Senate, no legislation, nothing like that. Imagine what we could do if we had our own state, a stand. Let me finish what I was saying about the stand. People say, oh, I don't like stand because it's like Afrikstan, Pakistan, like that. Come up with another name. Shut the hell up. Sit down. You know, the main thing is get that territory and create a state where we control the law, we build the institution. It's based on things. Black America is the only group of Black people that have their own almanac. That's how deep our history. That's how much accomplishment we have. You go there and find a Black almanac. It is like this thick, this thick, this thick. It's like 13 inches thick of just everything. And it has African everything about Africa too. Because we include Africa and modern Africa and everything that went in African history in our almanac. You go to any African country and learn about their history, they're not going to mention anything that happened in West. You go to East Africa, they're not going to, in their books and everything like that, it's just going to be their country, the Swahili, and stuff like that. That's all they know. And it's going to, you're not going to see, unless you go to an advanced scholarship, all the stuff included in their history. But you go to, I don't even know if Nigeria has an almanac or an encyclopedia. We have the African American Encyclopedia. We have the Black Almanac, African American Almanac. We have all stuff like that. We are a people that's defined with a defined history and everything. We have everything we need to know who we are, to get to the next level and build a nation. And don't need that. The one thing that the white supremacists don't want Black people to know, one thing they didn't want us to figure out is we don't need them. That's what we see now. We don't need white people. We don't need the selection system. We don't need America. We don't need them. Once you figure the fuck that out and everything. Now, some people say, well, gee, okay, well, let me change that. Now, if you're getting Section 8, if you're on the food stamps and all stuff like that, okay, you need this. You need white America. You know what I'm saying? But and they decided to take that away. That's your tough luck. But we can't afford to be chained down by you that thing. And I fear the reparations movement. And if these people are actually serious, they want us to be chained down, waiting on some white person to give us some check. I'm sorry. There's a whole world out there. We're ready to expand. Black America, we potentially could be the most powerful group of people on the planet. Do you want that power? Do you want power? Do you want black power? Or do you want to be a pansy, a puss, a wimp, an idiot, a moron, a buffoon? Or do you want real black power? Real black power is having your own shit. And one thing of having your own shit is having the desire to have your own shit. And the most important thing you can have in having your own shit is your own nation state. And that only takes an agreement between us, all of us, and a host African country who's willing to provide the initial infrastructure, right, to lock onto their grid, because we'll be part of their grid, right? I'm not telling anybody, oh yeah, we'll get this nation built. No, we'll live in harmony with our thing, because the host African country, most likely they got industries, they got businesses. We don't care. We at the BAL said that we don't care if a Nigerian wants to come down, like somebody like Dangote. He says, I want to build. I'm going to Dangote. All Dangote has to say is, I'm going to build a factory though in the Afrikstan. Do you think Dynas and I'll say, no, you're Nigerian?
Hell no.
Oh no, there's all this red tape. You got to, no, you can't do this because blah 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 blah. No, that's what they know. If you have an Afrikstan run by the diaspora, now we can't let the indigenous Africans run it. Why? Because it'll be the same fuckery that we see all over the continent. But us, we know that we don't give a damn. If you're black, we know that somehow or another we're all gonna benefit. We're the only group of black people that have that mind. The American descendants of slavery, the African American. You know, right? So like I said, I'm still getting a lot of positive feedback here. So I'm getting a lot of positive feedback here. Everybody, I want somebody to start talking more about the African. Okay, we know about ADOS, but what about your idea? Let's create this straw man called the Afrikstan in our minds and our imagination. This black state, this futuristic black state that we know and all know. And start looking at videos. How city-states built, how nations built, what infrastructure? What is infrastructure? What does a nation state need to function?
Did you read Bruce Kaiser's comment?
He said something about we don't have the logistics and everything like that.
Yeah.
Because he's not in the BAIL. He don't know what we're capable of. He don't know what we have. We have blueprints and everything like that. We have city planners. We have engineers. We have everything like that. You know, we have all these people. We have city designers. We have all this stuff like that. All we need is a nation state to practice that. And I guarantee you, like Mr. Overton in our BAL, this guy has been in this. This guy's old and all. He's like in his 70s. He said, man, I had this idea for a nation state on Afrikstan since the 1960s. You know, on the African continent. I've been at this. He lives in Canada. He said, when I saw the BAIO, I saw the light. I saw an organization I could work with. I saw an organization with young professionals and everything getting together and talking about this idea of nation state. We need land, but we need a land on the ass of them. We need that holy African soil to build an infrastructure on. We need that beautiful red coppery soil to build to plant our nation in. You ever notice about African soil, Dynas? How red it is?
Yeah.
That copper color. There's nothing more beautiful and more fertile than African soil. You know, there's nothing more beautiful than looking at modern roads being carved out of African soil, the red soil inside them, black tar and everything, roads and railways. That's a beautiful scenery. That's what I want. Now, if you can't imagine an Afrikstan where our children are beautiful, our beautiful children are going to school, going to college and everything, not worrying about being shot by gangs and stuff like that, then this is the organization, the movement for you. You know what I'm saying? So the bottom line is we need a state. You need a state. We need a state. I'm glad that more people agree with me. Spread it around. Go to these other people who are opposition to the BAIO, defiant of us. Go to their pages and type in land infrastructure nationhood, BAIO and Afrikstan. Keep flooding them in that. Let's flood the internet so they get tired. So we break their spirit And they say, you know something, that's the way forward. Why? Because we're gonna need, when we do get this land agreement, we're gonna need the best and brightest among us coming together and brainstorming. Do your own brainstorming. What does the nations need? Some people, as people joined the BAI, said, you know something, I'm into military intelligence and defense, everything. We need a defense part. You got people taking this shit on. I don't even call them. People take it when you join the BL. If you know what a nation state needs, you just take initiative. You do it on your own. You say, look, this is what. Well, you don't go off the reservation, but you don't understand what this. We'll say you say, well, we need international commerce. We need this country. You know what? This type of railway system would be great for us. You know, this type of stuff. No, I disagree with that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Study. You know, you got all this stuff. You can teach yourself all the stuff on YouTube. You know, send your kids to school to be nation builders. Learn these skills. Why? Because we're gonna need all of us. We're gonna need a steady flow of scientists coming in. We're gonna need doctors coming in. There's gonna be something for everybody. You know? Oh, that's bullshit. White supremacy, global interest. White supremacy is bullshit. It's all a myth to keep you basically doing nothing. The only group of people that believe in white supremacy is American Negroes. Nigerians don't believe in it. They're subjugated to, ignorant. Everything about Africans, what we're doing wrong, is our own laziness and our own capitulation. White supremacy is a scapegoat to not do anything. China's taking over the damn world. Are they under white supremacy? Nope. North Korea got nuclear missiles. Are they under white supremacy? So when you talk about white supremacy and everything, you're already defeated. Get the hell away from us. We don't need your help. Go away. Go collect your welfare check.
Sure, brother. What we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out, Kyler. Should we we got anything you want to share in closing?
Oh yeah. I'd like to say thank you for Dynus. Thank you for the Negro Manosphere. Brother O'Shea Jackson, when he held it down and defended us the other night, where he basically hung up on that Congolese guy living up in Britain, talking about us and everything. Dynus kicked him off the show. I applaud him. We're here to defend you. You're African American slave descendant. You are my priority. Before, I'm not going to sell you out to some Pan-Africanist deal of convenience and everything, and be phony and everything. We're not going to let people talk about us. We know we're great people. We're good people. We're just like everybody else. It's good and bad in us. But the world, including some of our African brothers, have bought into the idea that we ain't no damn good. We're here to protect you and give you another vision. And let me say this. If somebody says, I'm American, I believe in America, and I think this is my country, I have no problem with that. We can work together with you too. The question I want to ask is, why do you have such a disdain for those who don't believe that and Pan-Africanists when America has not proved itself out to you? You want us to prove out Pan-Africanism, you have 40 years. You know what I'm saying? We have it. Pan-Africanism is now starting. It's been lying dormant. Now it's starting to come out, and you want to kill it. But it's not going anyplace. Dynus has preempted all the arguments, all the conundrums, all the problems with Pan-Africanism. He's preempted that. By him preempting that, he took the fight out of them from the enemies of people who hate Pan-Africanism. He's doing the work. He said, yes, there's problems in Ghana, this, that, and the other thing. Yes, we don't get land. Yes, Africans do this. But yes, this, that, and the other thing. But we understand that if we don't do this argument, we are dead set against people trying to harm or hurt our African, Caribbean brothers and sisters that are in the United States. They're with us. They're one. You come to the BL, you'll find people from Africa, the Caribbean, everybody who believe that the black man in America needs something of his own. Brothers and sisters in the Caribbean realize that, yeah, they at least have the experience of a successful slave revolt in Jamaica and other places, Haiti. We've never had that taste of victory against our oppressors. One of the tastes of victory will be us having our own land that we can go to at any point in time. So the psychological bind that white America holds over black people, that you ain't got no place to go, will be broken. and you'll start seeing brothers, you know, that they're down in the dumps right now. You may look down on them now, but when they know that they have a nation of their own and it's progressing, it'll be a source of pride, and it'll uplift the mentality of millions of our people who are down and broken and hopeless in despair. I can't take looking at the hopelessness. Even some middle class black people and wealthy black people feel hopeless. They feel.
Hello, Colin. Man, Colin froze on us, guys. Well, let's give him a couple more seconds. We'll come back on, but the brother froze. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, make sure you like, share, subscribe the video. Let's give Kala a couple more minutes to hop back on. Let me put the link to the name site in the chat room. So, guys, make sure you go and check us out. The BIO. Here we go, right here. Bam. I think Kala, you know, they got his internet, you guys. They got his internet. They got his internet. The people got his internet. So, guys, until next time, Donnie Samir, Search for Uhuru. Hold on. Let's give him a couple more minutes. Give him at least one more minute. Yeah, so your boy Jesse Juicy Smollett got charged today. He needs to sit down for about 60 days. He needs to sit down for about 60 days. My honest opinion. He's probably going to plead insanity, or, you know, he has mental issues and they'll check him into rehab, you know, but I think he should sit down for at least 60 days, more than 60 days. But if the whole, my mental health isn't right, or I have mental issues, then yeah, he's going to sit down for 60 days if that don't work out. So until next time, family, Donnie Samir, Search for Uhuru. Peace.